What I think we have embraced is, especially in the technology world, resistance is futile, the constant is change. So from a leadership mindset, and in fact, for every single person's mindset, this is an era for builders.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of Converge. For the last 2 decades, companies have been running on cloud and software as a service as a way to automate different processes from customer service to sales. Everything has been built to actually follow the way that we wanted the software to actually run. But today, with AI agents, we are seeing for the first time software that can reason, learn, and act autonomously. It's not a surprise that will change dramatically how organizations are actually running, and how to prepare is something that we need to think about. That's why today I would like to invite Vivian Wade, who is the Salesforce Unified Agentforce Platform COO, to give us her thoughts on what it takes for an organization to adopt AI agents in a proper manner. That's going to be a tremendous transformation, and I believe there are many angles that we should touch upon. And so I would like to welcome Vivian. Hello, Vivian. Nice to see you again.
Hey, Gilbert, it's so great to see you again. I remember when we met in Argentina, Buenos Aires, when Globant first launched the AI Pods, and it's nice to reconnect.
It's great to talk to you always, and thank you for coming to Converge to share your vision on this. For as organizations who are evolving from software that is doing what has been planned, has been tested, software that has been built on rules, and now moving to an agentic way of thinking. How do you think organizations should adapt to manage an organization that will now consist of humans and agents collaborating?
Yeah, it's such a great question. We've been on this AI journey for a while. Started in October, really back in the days with predictive AI, and then back in November of 2022 with the launch of OpenAI and ChatGPT, getting to the generative AI phase. But I think this next wave of changes on the agentic AI, where we go from automation to AI-assisted decision-making and driving actions. And a lot of the companies we're working with today, 12,000 customers around the world, we're really helping them completely change how the organization is wired. And I think a lot about, how do we equip and empower employees and reimagine the workflow with human and agents together, working together jointly to unlock more possibilities, whether it's growth or efficiency for the organization.
We got surprised by the power of AI, but it seems like reorganizing the workflows with agents is going to change entirely the field. You can actually rethink completely your business by coordinating agents and humans. And for the first time, as Mark Benioff pointed out, we're going to be leading organizations that are, that will not just be the humans that you see on the office, the ones that are going to be collaborating. What's the right attitude for a leader to actually adopt AI agents? How shall we think of leadership in the following years?
It's such a great question. I think about when ChatGPT got launched, there's a tremendous of individual productivity, creativity that got launched. because now all of a sudden developers can use AI agents to develop and write code, which is fantastic. But with agentic AI, from a transformation standpoint, large organizations can actually harness the power of agentic AI systems at scale. So for example, with Help Agent on Salesforce.com website, now our agents are resolving over 74% of case resolutions and have already handled 2 million conversations. Now for a leader, you could look at this, and I think this is where the leaders get it wrong, to say, hey, I'm gonna just use AI to drive more efficiency and cut my workforce. That is absolutely the wrong way to think about growth. You don't grow to be $1 trillion business by cutting. What you really need to do is to bring your teams along that journey, set the vision for the future, and then equip them with the set of skills that's needed. Because here, you see, we've created a new class of jobs that are agent managers. And what do those jobs do? It's a combination of building AI agents that transform how companies run. The existing workflow with human and agent, that design in mind, instead of just having an AI bolt-on. And then the second thing is you need people who actually have the subject matter expertise to manage those digital teammates. And what does that mean? It means you're not just managing a human with trust but verify, but instead you need to be managing those agents with complete control, because they're making decisions on your behalf. That means they may be interacting with customers. And so some control and some governance on how these agents are performing. Are they performing to your standards, your expectations? And if they're not, how are you tweaking those agents in real time?
Is your voice, you want, how you treat your customers is it eventually translates in the brand perception. How do you make sure that your agents are going to represent you well? How can you build trust? How can you build responsibility on the treatment that these agents are actually delivering to your customers? That's going to be important. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I really think about AI agents are an extension of your workforce. And there's multiple things. One is, how much responsibilities do you actually give to the agents? What can they handle? And what's going to be more complex that you need to escalate to humans? That's a set of decisions you need to make. And then the second thing is, what are the agents not able to handle and should not be handling? That's where we need to set the guardrails about the agents. The third thing, which is probably the most important thing, is about governance. What kind of data access can the agent take and have access to? And also, is it about enterprise silo data, or is it the holistic view of the entire customer journey that you give the agents access to?
I imagine, there's going to be a lot of trust to be built within your teams with the agents that they work with. A lot of fears, a lot of worries, a lot of competition, saying people perhaps not be willing to outsource to an agent some part of what they used to be doing. What kind of upskilling do you think is going to be needed in order for the workforce to actually come up to accept and to work along with agents?
Yeah, what I think we have embraced is, especially in the technology world, resistance is futile. The constant is change. So from a leadership mindset, and in fact, for every single person's mindset, this is an era for builders. Even as leaders, we need to be building, we need to be on the ground, running with our teams, understanding what they're doing. What can we enable them with the tools, the learning, and more importantly, the safety mindset? We talk about psychological safety. Is it safe for people to experiment, come up with a new idea, and have the tools? We equip them with the tools to build an experiment. And then from there, learn and improve in real time. That's a short feedback loop. Because if you don't do that, you risk being irrelevant, not only in the technology world, but also in large enterprises.
Today, I must confess that I see many organizations still in a paralysis mode, like, oh, we don't know which model we are going to use. We don't see, we are giving away, individual tools rather than thinking at the whole workflow of the company. So what do you think are, in your experience, what are the things that are needed to move passing the fear, and the resistance for AI adoption in large enterprises?
The key is defining what is the outcome. What is the desired outcome for the organization to move the needle, whether it's top line growth or bottom line efficiency, and a lot of times it's both. From there, you identify, hey, what is a short list of highly prioritized use cases that we should be going after? And then once that's clear, now going down to use cases, an agent is only as good as the data that it has access to. Then figure out, every single organization, to your point, is going through that data maturity, understanding what are the data, what are the sets of data they need to provide the agent. In our case, we use Data 360 that's integrating, whether it's front-end office CRM data or back-end ERP data, stitching it together with the unified view of a customer. And then at the end of the day, you're here as an enterprise to serve the customer needs. So giving the agents to that set of relevant data, then the agent will take actions on. And then the last thing, actually it's probably the most important thing, is having the trusted governance in place so there's no bias, hallucination. You improve the accuracy to make sure the agent actually is acting to the needs of the business as you set it out to be.
And one of the things that we need to develop is essentially this mindset of continuously upgrading, our systems, and I believe there are going to be new roles within the organization and new ways of understanding and measuring performance for the whole organization. It's going to be, ensuring that everything is running properly. When you don't see the agents, you are not listening to them, it's going to be really interesting.
Yes, absolutely. And I actually think partners like yours are extremely important. Going back to the outcome point, if I'm a CEO, I'm thinking about, hey, what is the path of least resistance for me to get to that outcome quickly? And a lot of them are actually coming to us because they believe in this trusted agentic enterprise platform we have built, and then partnering with somebody like Globant to actually deliver to the outcome as an extension of their team.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I believe there's a matter of, moving fast in that regards, because at the end of the day, if you don't do it, your competitor will do it, and that's going to play significantly in favor of them. Well, Vivian, as always, it's a pleasure to talk to you, and thank you very much for being here at Converge. For us, it's very inspiring to listen to Salesforce view on agentic AI. So we continue, to be a great partner of Salesforce, and it's a pleasure to work together. And we look forward to continue riding this revolution.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a great pleasure. Always great to work with and talk to another technology evangelist and practitioner. So thank you, Gilbert.
Thank you, Vivian. Great to see you. Ciao.